The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway. These are the stories of Sodor. For as long as there have been railways, there have been those who admire them. When not attending excursions, these enthusiasts can be seen along the trackside, often with a camera in hand. And like I said last time, the new bridge enabled more of them to visit Sodor. But like I also said, this caused problems. While most rail fans pursue their hobby in a sensible manner, like every group, there's always a minority that act like pillocks. Did he think Henry wouldn't mind? I don't think he was thinking, period. The git actually asked Henry if they could go pick up the kipper. Another Railway series fan? So it seems. Whistling fireboxes. I don't know how the lads deal with that. Well, they recognise just how important they've been, and a part of me has to wonder just how many people would visit Sodor if not for those books. And I quite like 'em. Really? Aye, before coming here my crew would read them to me. I always loved hearing stories about Henry. Did you ever believe them? No, I knew my Henry. There's no way he'd hide in a tunnel because of rain. Come on, Emily, we need to get going. Before you do, take care with those trucks. They've seen better days. I'll say, can't the NCB afford to fix them? They can barely afford to keep this place open. I'm not surprised. We haven't been meeting our quotas lately. Why not? The mine's running out of coal. I don't know how much is left, but if we stay open another 3 years, I'll be very surprised. Here's hoping to another 3 years then. You're sure? No question. It was Halifax. Oh, wacko. Who's Halifax? Avery Halifax. The epitome of everything wrong with rail enthusiasts. Why? What's he done? One time he was trying to take my picture and thought it would be a good idea to stand on the main line while doing it. I was coming along that same track with the express. Somehow, he didn't hear me coming. If I hadn't blown my whistle, I would have run him over. He's done similar asinine things elsewhere on the island, and the coppers can't do much but slap him with a fine. Since he's rich, he's able to pay them and move on. He's also very popular amongst the engine crews. He often hangs around with them at the pubs to buy them drinks. How come Sir Topham doesn't just ban him from the railway? Because I don't have the authority to do that. Oh, good evening, Sir Topham, and... Wilbert? Wilbert Audrey, is that you? Hello, Gordon. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces and meet new ones. How do you do? I'm Reverend Wilbert Audrey. Nice to meet you. I'm called Boko. And I'm... Wait, Reverend Wilbert Audrey, as in author of the Railway series? A series currently in its 20th year of publication. You heard about that. Even if the papers hadn't been talking about it, we can do basic maths. Congratulations on such a milestone, Wilbert. Thank you, Henry. I couldn't have done it without you and the others. That's partly why I'm here. The Reverend will be spending the next 2 weeks on Sodor. Over that time, we'll be running special rail tours where he'll be travelling alongside the passengers. That's bound to draw in the crowds. What about Halifax, sir? I'll be issuing instructions to all engine crews to limit contact with him on railway grounds. As for the rest of you, keep your eyes open. Permission to wheesh steam at him, sir? Permission denied. Wow, these photos are great. Aye, how many times were you almost killed taking them? Emily! No, it's all right, Hugh. I'm sorry about the other day, Emily. It was very poor taste to take your photograph while you were indisposed. I don't care about that. I'm just worried you'll get yourself killed before long. I appreciate your concern, but I'll be fine. I've had plenty of close calls on Sodor and the mainland, and I'm still here. You're going to rely on luck to keep you alive? Bust my buffers! You really are a pillock. Well, thank you very much. If you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. See you chaps at the pub later on. Thanks for embarrassing us, Emily. You're ticked off at me? How can you stand that twat? It's easier to stomach someone when they buy you drinks. Fizzling fireboxes. Humans are so easy to bribe. Perhaps I should have offered you something to follow Sir Topham's orders. Old Fat Hat has no right to say who we can and can't talk to, on or off the railway. Come on, we need to get to the mine. I know it looks bad. No, Kate, this looks like a disaster waiting to happen. What are you even doing filling up these wrecks with coal? We didn't have a choice. The brake blocks jammed on the trucks we were going to use. These were the only ones available. Are they even serviceable? They look older than me. The lads checked them over and the BR representative signed off on their use. And for what it's worth, I didn't have any problem shunting them. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm glad you think so. You alright, love? After killing a man? Not really. Rubbish! It wasn't your fault. Those trucks should never have been used. I don't know what Kate was thinking. She was told they were safe. She couldn't have known otherwise. I shouldn't have taken them out to begin with. And I shouldn't have wished steam at Halifax. Maybe he would have seen the trucks coming and moved out the way. And maybe he would have stayed away entirely if two of my staff hadn't kept encouraging him. Sir Topham, we didn't think... No, you did not. If you had, you wouldn't have disobeyed my orders. And you certainly wouldn't have called me Old Fat Hat. How did you... Shut it! I want to see you both in my office immediately. As for you two, I shall talk to you later. I'm sorry to say the death of Mr. Halifax cast a shadow over the rest of Wilbert's time on Sodor. If there was a silver lining to be had, that tragedy served as an example to enthusiasts how not to behave. The number of problems we had with them decreased dramatically after that. However, there was some fallout. For starters, Emily's crew was sacked. She and James were also reprimanded. Mr. Halifax's family filed a lawsuit against British Railways and the National Coal Board. I'll talk more about that in a future story, but suffice to say, the mine wouldn't have to worry about running out of coal. You may recall one of the many goals of BR's modernization plan was to dieselize the entire network. In the years since, thousands of faceless steamies were sent to scrapyards all over the country. Among these locations was Kildane, which did a roaring trade turning engines into piles of metal. Fizzling fireboxes. This is surreal. I'll say, to think there was a time when steam ruled the nation. Now look at them. Oh, I'm looking. When did they break him down? A few days ago. They'll do his tender tomorrow. Such a shame. Jeremy was a good man. Jeffrey. What? His name was Jeffrey. Oh, right. Sorry. Senior moment. Times certainly are changing. I know what you mean. Feels like only yesterday I was working on the Great Northern Railway. Then it was the London and North Eastern Railway. Now it's British Rail. Don't you mean British Railway? Oh, you hadn't heard? BR recently shortened its name to just British Rail. What? Why? I have no idea. I haven't tried to make sense of BR's decision since 1955. Count yourself lucky you're privately owned. And I should get back to work before the owner sees me lollygagging. See you later, Horace. Henry. Right, sorry. Another senior moment. Afternoon, Sir Topham. Good afternoon, Mr. Hall. My word, I have never seen a non-faceless vehicle in such a wretched state. I'm amazed he's even alive. So am I, sir. I'm even more amazed how nobody noticed before Neil gave him a bump. What do we know about him? His name's Barry, and he worked around Norwich. That's on the other side of the country. How did he end up here? According to the transfer records, he's been bouncing around scrapyards since he was decommissioned in 1958. What? He's been left to rust? For 7 years? How the bloody hell was that allowed to happen? And who decommissions a non-faceless steamy without cause? There's no shortage of names attached to the file, sir. I'm sure some are more accountable than others. I plan to hold all of them accountable. In the meantime, I would like to speak with Barry. Of course, sir. This way, please. Barry, this is Sir Topham Hatt, controller of the Northwestern region. Hello, Barry. Nice to meet you. You too, sir. Blimey, I always wanted to visit Sodor, but not like this. Understandable. Do you have any idea how you ended up in this condition? Last thing I remember was going in for some minor repairs. They gave me green water and I was out like a light. Next thing I know, I'm waking up here. Is it really 1965, sir? I'm afraid so. I don't understand. Why was I left to rust? What happened? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. And when I do, I will personally destroy the careers of the imbeciles responsible. Thank you, sir. What'll happen to me now? You'll be transferred to our workshop at Croven's Gate for repairs. Mr. Hall, make sure Barry is afforded every comfort. Absolutely, sir. Don't worry, Barry. We'll have you... You'll have me... Oh, sorry. We'll have you fixed up in no time. Mickey, get him ready for transport. Right away. Can you repair him, Mr. Hall? Yes, sir. The reason I hesitated was because a thought crossed my mind. Do you remember our meeting about my special project? You mean Barry? I thought you wanted to test it on one of my engines first. I did, sir, but that would mean taking one of them out of service. Given how busy they've been, that might not be a good idea. And using Barry as a subject is? The one good lesson I learned from my uncle was to always seize opportunities, but a better lesson I learned from my father was to always ask before doing something. May I at least ask Barry if he's willing to undergo the procedure? All right, but you will explain it to him in detail, and if he says no, we will wait for another opportunity. Is that clear? Crystal, sir. What do you think? That might be the balmiest thing I've ever heard. What steamy in their right mind would want to do that? This is meant to help steamies, and if it works, it will. If it works. I don't fancy being used as a guinea pig, not after 7 years in a bloody coma. Find some other chump. All right. We'll fix you up using conventional means. That won't be a problem. I'm sorry for upsetting you. You didn't. It's just... this is a lot to take in. I can't imagine. We do offer psychological services. Mickey is... Could you say that again? That shipment of parts you ordered has been delayed. How delayed? I don't know. Dispatch can't find them. Bollocks! If we don't do something soon, Henry will be dead in a day or two. Could we send him to another workshop? It's too risky to move him again. I guess we'll have to improvise. We can comb the scrapyard and pick out what we need. With all due respect, Rob, that does not sound like a good idea. I've done it before. How many times? Twice. Were they successful? The second time was. I realize it's not ideal, but like you said, Mickey, if we don't do something... Derek, get some trucks ready sharpish. We need to pay the scrapyard a visit. Oh, that's such a relief. You should have seen Emily. I think she was about to cry out of happiness. She won't be the only one. Using salvaged parts to save him. Genius. This Mr. Hall sounds like a clever chap. Ugh! You disagree? No, I just remembered I meant to ask him about his father. Rob said he used to work for us as a guard, but didn't mention his name. Does it ring any bells with you, Edward? Well, there was a porter named Gregory Hall who worked for us on the LNER. Mr. Starr sacked him for gross incompetence. After that, he became an angry drunk whose wife disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Despite all that, the council allowed him to adopt his nephews. Why would he need to do that? I understand their parents died. I don't remember how or what their names were. All I know is Hall moved away with the boys not long afterwards. Now that I think about it, his brother-in-law might have been a guard for your group, and I do remember one dying back in the day. What was his name? Ugh, this is going to drive me mad, and I dare not ask Rob about it. That might be for the best, but if that was him, he's done well to carry on despite such tragedy. How's he doing? Stable. The lads say he could stay this way for several weeks. Fortunately, he won't have to. Dispatch found those parts. We should get them tomorrow. Here's hoping. And I'm sorry for doubting you, Rob. No need to apologize. It was a flip of a coin if my idea would work. Excuse me, Mr. Hall. Please, Barry, call me Rob. All right. Rob, can I talk to you? Of course. How are you doing? Fine. I'm eager to get fixed up, though, and we'll get started the moment those parts arrive. About that, I want you to test your idea out on me. You do? Can I ask why you've changed your mind? To be honest, I said no because I didn't think you could pull it off, but watching you save that chap using scrap metal, I now see how good you are. And like you said, if it works, it'll help out steamies everywhere. Maybe then they won't end up like me. In that case, I'll inform Sir Topham and we'll proceed from there. Thank you, Barry, and good luck. I'm pleased to say the procedure Barry would undergo was a complete success. I'm also pleased to say Sir Topham got to the bottom of how he ended up on Sodor. At the same time he was undergoing repairs, a faceless member of his class was also present. This engine had been decommissioned, and somehow its paperwork got mixed up with Barry's. Since BR was in a rush to scrap its steamies, nobody double-checked them. Fortunately, the names of everyone involved were clearly marked on the files, and true to his word, Sir Topham decimated their careers. As for Henry, his repairs would go smoothly. He was laid up at the works for many months, during which time Donald covered for him on the main line. I wish I could say his crash was truly an accident, but it wasn't. They found evidence the track had been tampered with. Unbeknownst to us at the time, the culprit was the same one who killed Jeffrey. Despite the harm he had already inflicted, he still wasn't done with Sodor. In a previous story, I basically described the Vickerstown Road Bridge as a double-edged sword. While more people could visit the island much easier, the same was true of potential competitors. Unfortunately, the Skarloey Railway was more affected by this than we were. By the time of this story, buses and lorries had taken away a lot of their work. To make matters worse, the Boxford Ballast Mine was on the brink of closing. Back in 1965, the operators discovered it was running out of stone. By their estimates, the site would run dry within 2 years. Ever since, the trains had gotten smaller and smaller. Eventually, the managers announced they would shut down 6 weeks after this story begins, and in that time, the SKR suffered its most tragic loss. I'm so sorry about Sir Handel, lads. Thank you, Bertie. He was a good man. Aye, he was. He really was. I still can't believe he's gone. The man survived Verdun, Passchendaele and the Somme, only to snuff it from a heart attack? God has a sick sense of humour. I wouldn't blame God or anyone else for his passing if I were you, youngster. There wouldn't be any point. And it's not what he would have wanted. No, he wouldn't have. Rest in peace, Hans. Amen. Well, we better get back to work. He would also want us to carry on. Too bad I don't have any work to do. Don't you have a goods train to collect from the yard? I did, but when I arrived to pick it up, the yardmaster said it had been cancelled, and I suppose there was a lorry there waiting to steal it. Fizzling fireboxes. Talk about déjà vu. How's that? You're joking, right? We're constantly losing jobs to the roads, and an important industry is on its last legs? What does that sound like? It doesn't sound like the Mid-Sodor Railway. Yes, we'll lose the mine, but we still have the slate quarry, which is doing a roaring trade, even with that dodgy winch. Not to mention our tourist numbers remain strong. But will that be enough to keep us going? You can always ask Mr. Mannering about that. Who's Mr. Mannering? Our new gov. He used to be our director of finance. Is he a bean counter like Mr. Watson? No, he's much more reasonable. He came up with the budget that allowed us to expand into the Notwin Valley, so he knows his stuff. Let's hope it'll be enough to keep us open. If it's any consolation, Stuart, I don't enjoy taking work away from you. I'm just doing my job. I know, Bertie. I don't blame you for that. The problem is it doesn't make much difference. You're prospering while we're floundering. You're overreacting, Stuart. I wouldn't call our losses devastating. Merely a hiccup. I wonder what we'll lose next to this hiccup. Hello, Stuart. What are you doing here, Onslow? Fishing? You're taking the daily catch? But that's Duncan's job. Not anymore. The little kipper's been cancelled. Then why are you here? Because I didn't get a chance to tell him before he left. Sorry about that, Duncan. It's alright, Mr. Mannering. And congratulations on getting the nod, by the way. Thank you. I wish it were under better circumstances. I hope I can live up to the same standards set by Sir Handel. Sir Handel would have made sure to tell us about any changes to the schedule. Again, I'm sorry about that. I've been very busy. Then why are you here, sir? It wasn't just to apologize, was it? No, I'm having lunch with Onslow's manager. Mr. Norton's waiting for you over at Neptune Refreshments, sir. Then I'd best be off. Don't want to keep him waiting. That's odd. Why is he meeting with your gov? All I know is Mr. Norton was the one who arranged it. Maybe he wants to buy the railway. I'm sure he'll get a decent price for it. What's got your coupling in a twist? I don't like that you lot keep stealing work from us. I'm not stealing anything. I'm just doing my... Yes, I know. That doesn't mean I have to like it. I'm sure you don't, Duncan. I'm not happy about losing the Kipper, but ever since BR cancelled theirs, I've had a feeling mine was living on borrowed time. So that's it. You're going to let it go without a fight? What else can I do? Steady on, Stuart, or you'll knock me out of this cab. Again. Sorry, I'm just very steamed up. Obviously. I spoke to Falcon the other day. He was worried about you. But not the railway? Shouldn't friends put each other before their company? Do you want to talk about it? If you spoke to Falcon, then you'll know why I'm so ticked off. Because we keep losing business to the roads. Yes, and there isn't a damn thing we can do about it. Doesn't that make you angry? Not really. If they were boasting about their windfall, that would be a different story. But they're not. Was it different back on the Mid-Sodor Railway? Well, no. But I keep coming back to the same issue. Their intention doesn't matter. The MSR's still closed because of them. Now I'm worried they'll take this one. I don't want to lose another home scar, Loie. Nobody does, Stuart. But I think you're overestimating the impact they've had. If we were in dire straits, I'm sure Sir Handel would have told us, don't you think? Yes, he would have. He was very open about our situation on the MSR, and I'm sure Mr. Mannering will be the same. Assuming we can trust him, why would he meet with the owner of Norton Trucking? I don't know, but it would be wrong to assume it was anything untoward. Give the man a chance. Ask him about his meeting and the welfare of the railway. I'm sure he'd be open to a discussion. I'll think about it. I don't know if Stuart actually tried to talk to his new manager, but even if he did, it wouldn't have mattered. For the next week, Mr. Mannering was practically unreachable as he attended back-to-back meetings. One of these was with Mr. Watson, which unsettled many nerves. Ever since he became controller, he made no secret of his intention to cancel the transfer contract British Rail had with the SKR. In all fairness, this was justified, as the service had been unprofitable for some time. However, it was the primary source of goods coming in and out of the railway, not to mention we were the ones that transported the SKR's ballast and slate. If this arrangement was ended, the effects could be devastating, and while the arrangement was ended, Mr. Mannering was unperturbed. In fact, he admitted to his engines that he had been the one to terminate the contract. Why would you do that? Because we were going to lose it anyway. But don't panic, the cancellation won't take effect for another month. After that, all inbound and outbound freight will be handled by Norton Trucking. Really, sir? They're going to work with us? Why? It seems there's been a lot of competition for jobs around our railway. Too much, apparently. All the trucking companies have been undercutting each other and are barely making any money. They've had to make cutbacks, which is affecting their performance. The clients can't be too happy about that. They're not. Some have already expressed an interest in coming back to us. Well, if we're going to regain our lost jobs, why do we need the help of a trucking company? Weren't you listening, youngster? We still need a way of bringing freight in and out of the railway. And Norton Trucking is the only group willing to do that. If this partnership does any good, I'll be making a similar offer to the Sodor Bus Company. Oh, wacko. What's wrong, Stuart? I thought you'd be happy. I'm sorry, sir. I'm just not chuffed at the idea of working alongside those who crippled us in the first place. I agree it's not ideal, but it's better than losing our goods and passenger traffic altogether. Maybe, sir, but this feels like befriending the burglar that robbed your house. That doesn't really apply here, Stuart. Nobody stole anything. The roads presented an alternative, and the customers went with them. So it's the public's fault? It's nobody's fault. Even if someone was to blame, that's not going to make things better. Working together with our new partners will. Can I trust you to do that? Yes, sir, you can. Well, it looks like your gov did buy the railway. Mr. Norton made an offer and your manager accepted. And would he have made that offer if his company was doing well? Probably not, but it isn't, and I'm glad he's taking steps to fix that. I don't want to lose another home. What did you say? I said I don't want to lose another home. So you've several times. I would join a company and things would be all right for a while. Then the work would dry up, or they would cut costs, or they would underbid on a contract so we'd operate at a loss. And when I heard how much we were undercutting the competition here, I thought to myself, here we go again. Whistling fireboxes. How do you cope with that? By remembering the old saying, such is life. Things will inevitably go wrong, and when they do, I prefer to not dwell on them. It won't make the situation any better. No, it won't. Thank you, Onslow. You've given me a lot to think. What on earth is happening up there? Oh no! Everyone get clear! Ow! Damn safety valve! How you doing, Onslow? I've been better. What happened with those trucks? That dodgy winch gave out again. I thought we fixed it, but obviously not. I'm so sorry about that. I'm sure you didn't mean for it to malfunction again, Rusty. Such is life. And you didn't have to risk yours to save mine, so why did you? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Ugh, and I have no idea why. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Not to worry. Just don't expect me to do that again. Oh, I don't. I know exactly how you're feeling. This is giving me deja vu. How's that? So I told him the story about my cracked funnel, and he was in hysterics by the end. Did you mention the drain pipe? Why do you think he was laughing? I hope he'll be all right. He will be. According to Mr. Norton, he'll be back delivering packages in a few weeks. Is this going to affect our partnership, sir? No. He understands it was an accident. One that nearly took out you, Stuart. How you doing? I'd feel better if I wasn't so embarrassed. About what? My behavior, sir. It's been appalling. I'm so sorry about that. And I'm sorry for whining about the loss of the Mid-Sodor Falcon. I need to let it go. Ah, don't worry, Stuart. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about the MSR from time to time, and that I wasn't slightly concerned the SKR might end up like it. Then allow me to put your mind at ease. It's not going to. Even if we shut down all freight and passenger services, we'll be just fine. Really, sir? How? Tourism. It accounts for nearly 60% of our revenue. At one point, Sir Handel wanted to convert this line into a heritage railway. Why didn't he? I talked him out of it. I told him it's never a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket. But the heritage plan is on standby in case our partnership doesn't work. I'm sure it will, sir. And if it doesn't, well, such is life. I'm pleased to say the partnership between the Skarloey Railway and Norton Trucking was a huge success. Both companies benefited enormously from this arrangement and even beat out much of the competition. Indeed, the demand for their services became so great that the yard at Crovan's Gate had to be redeveloped to accommodate it. Their alliance became stronger after the Sodor Bus Company joined in. Thankfully, this powerhouse of a union didn't abuse its position. It treated its customers extremely well and is still around to this day. As for the Boxford Ballast Mine, it closed down shortly before the transfer contract with British Rail ended. It was then turned into a museum and became quite the popular tourist attraction. Not long after this happened, Mr. Mannering came to his engines and told them about the secret project he and Sir Handel had been working on for the past 2 years. But that is a story for another day. Back in 1955, a new service began on Britain's railways called the monorail. This was a long-distance passenger train that gave people the option to bring their cars along. These were loaded on special flatbeds at various terminals across the country. Not long after Dry Out Airfield reopened, they started building one at Knapford. It didn't take long for the work to be completed, and even less time for the first monorail to arrive on Sodor.
Hello, I'm Bear. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Bear. Welcome to Sodor. I'm Samantha, and this is my husband, Reginald.
How do you do, Bear? So this is the famous monorail. Very interesting. Have you been working this service long? About 2 years now.
I suppose this is technically a mixed train since you're pulling passengers and freight. Is that difficult?
It can be, but you get used to it. And I'll tell you what, this assignment really teaches you how to be delicate yet quick.
And if I'm remembering the schedule right, you'll be leaving tomorrow?
Yep, but I'll be back again in a few days. I'll be handling the monorail to and from Sodor.
In that case, we better make sure you have a place to sleep. You can take my spot in the shed.
Oh no, I couldn't do that. I'm fine with a carriage shed.
It's no problem, Bear. I'm going in for routine maintenance today. I'll be out for the next week.
In that case, cheers. That's very kind of you. I didn't just marry her for her looks.
No, you didn't. Anyway, I'd best be off to the works. Behave yourself while I'm gone, Reggie.
No promises, Sam. Love you.
Love you too.
She seems like a fine woman. She's the best a man could ask for. And the other engines are the best friends you could ask for. Which doesn't surprise me. I've heard so much about this place. From the Railway series, I feel I should tell you a lot of those books are fictional. Oh, you don't need to tell me that. I'm in them too.
Really? Which one?
The newest one, Enterprising Engines. It came out last year.
What's it about?
It's a collection of 4 stories. The one I'm in is called Super Rescue. Basically, it's about how Henry helps me and another Diesel after we break down. And who's this other Diesel? You've got to be kidding me.
My sentiments exactly. And how do you two know each other? Our paths have crossed from time to time.
Too many times if you ask me.
Well, nobody did.
And you both know Wilbert? I met him back in '64. He was brainstorming ideas for a new book and wanted a Diesel's perspective.
He came to me for the same reason. Must have been around the same time. But I had more important things to do than humor the writer of a children's book.
If that was your attitude, no wonder he wrote you the way he did.
And which way is that?
I'm surprised you lot don't know about it. Doesn't the Reverend tell you every time he writes a new book? Not always. Even if he did, we don't always have time to read them.
Well, if this one makes fun of old Spam Cam, we should make the time. Tell us about it, Bear.
No worries. For starters, good evening, engines. Oh, good evening, sir. Bear, this is Mr. Watson, our controller. Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you. Nice to make your acquaintance as well, Bear. Have you been enjoying yourself so far? Oh, yes, sir. I'm looking forward to coming here on the regular.
That makes one of us.
Did you say something, Francis?
No, sir.
I didn't think so. Anyway, I didn't come here just to welcome Bear. I have some news about Samantha. Is something wrong, sir? While they were examining her, they found traces of metal fatigue in her system. Blimey, is it bad? It's not good. In fact, it's the same variant that killed my brother, so I'm very worried. Don't be, Reggie. Sam's a strong woman, and she's in good hands. Still, if the worst should happen, I don't know what I would do. What would she expect you to do? Carry on, that's what. Thanks, Patrick. Anytime, mate. And I know how to cheer you up. I heard you just found out about Enterprising Engines. Don't tell me you're in it too. No, but when it came out, the driver I had at the time bought a copy for his son. He knew me and Francis didn't like each other and decided to read it to me. And?
Whatever.
You're not angry about it?
Why would I be? Only small minds would be offended by such nonsense, and even smaller minds would be amused by it.
That's surprising. I thought for sure you'd be ticked off.
Is that why you embellished our conversations to the Reverend out of spite? Pathetic.
Are you saying none of it was true?
I'm saying it doesn't matter if it is. As it was back then, I have more important matters to attend to now, like my injector.
What's wrong with your injector?
It's failed, and I can't move as the brakes on my train have clamped on.
Too bad your mouth is still wide open.
Very droll, Bear. How long until you're due to leave?
Thank heavens. Sorry to leave you with him, Reginald. Don't be. We tend to ignore him when he starts moaning. Then I'm surprised you listen to him at all. I'll see you again in a few days. Ta-ra! Bother!
Hello, Bear. Has it been a few days already?
Oh, shut up. Stupid bloody motor. Talk about life imitating art. You two had the exact opposite issues in the book, so maybe we ought to take a page out of it on how to fix them. You don't mean... I do. Francis, apart from your injector, do you have any other problems? No. In that case, here's the plan. I'll couple up to the back of your train, and we'll use my injector to release the brakes. Together, we should be able to tow Bear and the motorway to Croven's Gate, where you can both get repaired.
Wouldn't it be better to contact the Fire and Rescue Service and let them deal with this, as is their responsibility?
That could take ages. Do you really want to just sit around?
No, but I hardly think allowing two compromised trains to travel together is a wise course of action. Not to mention, I don't think we will make it to Croven's Gate.
Well, I do, and I'm going to contact Control to get clearance.
Go ahead, waste your time. They will never approve such a preposterous idea. I cannot believe this.
Oh, shut it, Francis. And here we go. I'm guessing that's not how the story ends.
How'd that car fall off anyway?
The chain snapped. We couldn't just leave it there, so we called for a crane. They loaded it back up, and off we went. We made it to the works without any further delays.
Well done, Reginald. You turned a tragedy into a triumph. Truly exceptional. Too right. Of all the stunts we've pulled on this island, that was one of the wildest.
I couldn't have done it better myself. Yes, I'm rather proud of this too. It's just a pity I didn't get to see Samantha. That was one of the reasons you did this, wasn't it? I'd be lying if I said the thought hadn't crossed my mind, but I really was trying to help out two engines in distress.
How come you weren't able to see her?
There was no need for me to go inside the works, not to mention I had to take Bear and Francis's trains on to Barrow. I did ask Derek how she's doing. He said she's still touch and go. This is so frustrating. The woman I love is in dire straits and I can't do a thing to help her. Sounds like you need a distraction, and I have just the thing. Control wasn't able to find a spare locomotive to take the motorrail onto its destination. It's been rescheduled for tomorrow, and I would like you to take it. Me, sir? You, sir. Francis will be back in service tomorrow, but Bear will be out of action for at least a week. You will handle the motor rail in the meantime.
You lucky sod, Reggie. I've always wanted to pull that train.
You might still get your chance, James. Are you saying you won't do it? I don't want to be difficult, sir, but I'd rather not be too far away from Sam just in case. Why not send James, or Henry, or Gordon? Because the route in question has very little in the way of coaling depots and water towers. Using a steamy might be doable, but a diesel would be better. And before you ask about Patrick, he was the one who recommended you take the job. Why?
You said yourself Sam would expect you to carry on. A long-distance run like this would be a great way to keep yourself occupied. It's either that or you continue sitting around here working yourself into a lather.
You're right, Patrick. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Again, I'd love to take the motor rail, sir. Good, because I wasn't really giving you a choice. You're rostered to take 3 services over the next week. Understood, sir. Behave yourselves while I'm gone.
No promises, mate.
What?
Wake up, lazy bones. Why don't you do some work like me?
Rattling radiators. Sam, when did you get out?
This morning. As you can see, I'm alive and well. Very well, in fact. I feel great, and I'll feel even better when I see Reggie.
Wait until you hear what he's been up to.
Oh, I've heard plenty. Hauling 2 diesels and their trains. Now he's gallivanting all over the country with the motor rail. Is there anything that man can't do?
I hope so. He's making the rest of us look bad.
When's he supposed to get back?
Later today.
I can't wait to see the look on his face when he arrives. Are you sure it was today?
Absolutely. It's not like him to be late.
Indeed. I hope he arrives soon. I wish to congratulate him for his Herculean efforts last week. You haven't done that yet? We have been working opposing shifts, Samantha. I have barely had time to glance at Reginald, much less thank him. I didn't think you would, since you reckoned you wouldn't get to Croven's Gate. And I was wrong, James. I can admit when that happens. Goodness, Francis, are you becoming humble? Don't be absurd.
Good evening, engines. Samantha, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Is something wrong?
I'm afraid so. Feels like every time I come here, it's to bring bad news. You have bad news, sir? Yes, it's about Reginald. A points failure sent him onto the wrong line and he collided with another train.
Oh, God. Is he all right?
No.
Sir, you don't mean...
I'm afraid I do, Gordon. I'm sorry.
Oh, God. No.
As you might expect, we were all devastated by Reginald's death. That he died so suddenly and unexpectedly really hit us hard. To make matters worse, he wasn't the only fatality. Nearly 30 people died in that crash, so naturally there was a huge demand to know what caused it. Initially, it was believed a points failure was responsible, but they had difficulty confirming this. As a result, the investigation dragged on longer than expected. In that time, fingers started being pointed, and I'm sorry to say some of them fell on our late express engine.
What sort of rubbish is that?
My driver read the article. The tosspot that wrote it kept asking questions like, how come Reginald didn't see the other train coming? Why didn't he realize he was on the wrong line? And other such nonsense.
This is fantastic. My husband dies and everyone turns him into a scapegoat. It's not fair.
No, especially when it should have been me.
How's that?
I pushed Reggie into taking the motor rail. If I had just...
Patrick, don't. It wasn't your fault. I don't blame you for Reggie's death.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought maybe...
Well, you thought wrong.
Thanks, Sam. You're a good woman. Reggie was a lucky man. Anyway, I best be off. If you need anything, let me know.
Will do. See you later.
He's right. I was a lucky man.
Not right now, you aren't.
What the papers are saying about you is nothing more than a stunt to sell more copies. I know I didn't cause this accident, and so do you. That should be enough. I know it should, but it still hurts seeing your name dragged through the mud. Let them drag all they like. It'll be all the more satisfying after I'm cleared. Then they'll get to choke on their sensationalism. That does sound like fun. You always knew how to cheer me up. Oi, Sam! Ah, James! How long have you been there? I just arrived. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Where do you want this lot? Just leave it there. I'll get to it in a moment. All right. Who are you talking to? No one. You should have come to me with this sooner. I know, but I didn't think it was a problem. Sam, you're having hallucinations about your dead husband. That is an enormous problem. Even though it isn't affecting my work, that doesn't matter. These kinds of delusions are very unhealthy. When did they first start? After you told me the investigation had slowed down. Speaking of which, I'm sorry, Sam, I don't have anything new to report. They're working as fast as they can, but they have a lot of data to process. If I had to guess, it sounds like these visions come from a desire for closure. You want to know how and why your husband died. You think if I get that, he'll go away? It's possible. Then maybe I'm not so eager for closure. Talking to him makes me feel better. This vision is so lifelike, which is what makes it so dangerous. And the more you engage with it, the harder it will be to get rid of it. What am I supposed to do if he shows up? Try not speaking to it. If it persists, tell it outright you know it isn't real. And try avoiding things that trigger strong memories of Reginald. That's going to be difficult since everything around here reminds me of him. Then perhaps a change of scenery might help. Sheffield is due for an overhaul. Maybe you could cover for him on the Warrington branch until he gets back. You think I could? I mean, I've never worked on a branch line before. I know. I also know it's been tradition to send engines like you to the Farquhar branch, but they're very busy at the moment. I'm sure you'll get the necessary training on the Little Western. So what do you say? Sounds like a great idea. Excellent. I'll run it by Mr. Watson. Are you going to tell him about Reginald? Only if you want me to. Otherwise, I'll recommend it as bereavement leave. I'd rather you do that. I really don't want anyone else to know I'm having hallucinations. There's no shame in it, Sam. You're likely to receive a lot of support if you come out and admit it. That's all I've been getting since Reggie died. People offering their condolences and their help. I know it comes from a good place and I hate to sound ungrateful, but it can be overwhelming sometimes. I understand. I'll tell Mr. Watson you need some time away from here. I'm sure he'd be happy to make the arrangements. And don't forget what I told you to do if Reginald shows up. Don't worry. If there's one thing every wife knows, it's how to tell off her husband. Hello, Sam. So nice to see you. Welcome to the Warrington branch. Thanks, Kate. This is great. I had no idea how badly I need to get out of that yard. If you do good enough, maybe we'll keep you on. I guess that'll depend on how good you lot are at teaching me. Control said I was to start working with you? That's right, we'll be double-heading this train to Warrington. And before we set off, I want to tell you how sorry I am. Thank you. It's been rough, no mistake. I didn't just mean about Reginald. I'm sorry about the fight we had all those years ago. What fight? When Joshua came here, I accused you of being interested in Thomas. Oh, that? I'd forgotten all about it. Well, I hadn't, and I never apologized for it. And you don't need to, Kate. That's ancient history. Let's make a fresh start. Sounds good to me, so let's couple up and get going. You can lead. Me? If you're going to be working this branch, you need to learn the line. Yes, that's very true. Let's go! What happened? I lost steam pressure. I'm not used to moving trains over a long distance. I'm sorry for cocking up our run, Kate. It wasn't your fault, Sam. I should have told you the first lesson of branch line work. Make sure to pace yourself. If there's an upside to what happened, it's that we got to experience the banker.
I don't suppose you saw what it was?
No, and our guard couldn't tell us anything, so we're hoping you can, Duck. Sorry, Samantha, but my experience lines up with everyone else's. I know I saw an engine, but I can't tell you a thing about it. And it wasn't just me. My crew and everyone on the platform said the same thing. It was like we didn't care to notice it, which is absolutely horrible if the banker is non-faceless. So this thing appears out of nowhere to help stranded trains, but it won't let anyone remember it? Why? Search me, but at least it's friendly. Even so, let's hope we won't need its help again. I'll make sure to pace myself going forward. Maybe we could try a different train, something lighter perhaps to ease you into things.
I have just the thing. I'll be running a rail tour tomorrow. You want to double-head it with me?
That'd be great.
Tops. We'll head out for Waterton first thing. You can pick up the coaches if you want.
Well, shunting is my specialty. Where will I find them? Thanks for showing me, William.
Don't mention it. And you can call me Will.
Then you can call me...
What's wrong?
Sorry, it's just... Has anyone ever told you that your face is very similar to Reginald's?
No.
Never?
Never ever. I hope that won't be a problem.
No, of course not. I'm sorry, I'm being very rude.
I don't think so. I can't deny Reginald was a rather striking chap. I take it as a compliment that you think we look alike.
Just as intended.
You're a terrible liar, Samantha.
Yes, I am. And you can call me Sam.
All right then. Enjoy your run, Sam. Hope it goes well.
So do I. Take care.
I don't see the resemblance either. Then again, I was never very good at spotting the obvious.
You certainly weren't. Remember that time? No.
No what?
You're not real. You are not real.
Of course I'm not.
What?
I say, Sam.
Wendell, how long have you been there?
I just rolled up. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Are the coaches ready?
Yes, they are.
Then let's get rolling. Who are you talking to?
No one. Now that's strange. I've never heard of hallucinations confirming they aren't real, which makes me wonder what if it is Reggie, his ghost anyway. Given our previous experience with the supernatural, it's not impossible, is it? No, I suppose not. But assuming it is his ghost, why are you the only one who can see him? I don't know. If he pops up again, should I ask? Or should I just ignore him? Maybe you could ask a few questions, but make sure you don't get carried away. Then again, maybe he won't show up. Why wouldn't he? Remember how I said this could be caused by a desire for closure? Well, I can offer that now. I got word this morning that they've concluded the investigation. They can confirm the accident was caused by a points failure. How did it fail? Was it dodgy maintenance? No, it was in working order. It was just simply bad luck. When Reginald was switched onto the wrong line, he collided with the other engine about 10 seconds later. So he had no chance of stopping in time, and no chance of surviving. He and the other engine were going rather fast. They'll be holding a press conference later today to announce these findings, and to confirm Reginald wasn't responsible. Good. Good to know. You don't sound all that happy. I'm glad Reggie's reputation will be restored, but at the same time, knowing how he died doesn't really help. It won't bring him back. Not that I thought it would, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm acting completely balmy. I'd be worried if you weren't acting balmy. And for what it's worth, I know how you feel. I went through my own cycle of grief after Thomas died. You did? Of course. The romance was long gone, but I still thought of him as a dear friend. I was gutted when he was killed. Angry too. Even when I had answers, it didn't help much. What did? Time. I won't say it gets easier, but you learn to live with it. After all, what else can we do?
She's right, you know. If we buckled every time we suffered a loss, we couldn't function. Blimey, I haven't seen that look since the time I nearly forgot our anniversary.
What did you mean when you said you're not real?
Ah, you're asking questions. All right, I'll answer them. I mean I'm a ghost, Sam. I'm not physically here.
Why am I the only one who can see you?
Because not all ghosts are created equal. Like the banker. Even I have no idea who or what it is.
Can you prove you really are Reginald's ghost?
No, I can't, and I'm not going to try. I'll be moving on after this conversation.
Moving on?
Yes, it's the best thing for both of us. It's clear my lingering is only hurting you, and I'm sorry about that.
I just wanted to say goodbye.
Well, I don't know if you're the real thing or not, but I am glad you were here. You've been so kind and so helpful since the day I arrived on Sodor. I can't thank you enough.
You don't have to. Please tell the others I'm sorry I couldn't speak to them. Tell them it was an honor and a privilege working with them.
I will, Reggie. I will. I love you.
I love you too, Sam. Goodbye.
Hello, Sam.
Ah, Will, how are you?
Fine, thank you. So you're out here on your own?
Yes, I wanted to have a go at pulling a train on my own. No sense in being handheld the whole time I'm here.
I suppose not. How's it working out?
No accidents, no breakdowns, no bankers. All in all, pretty good.
That's great. So, who are you talking to?
Reginald.
Come again?
Samantha opened up about her chats with Reginald, and many of us were inclined to believe it really was his ghost, even though we'll never know for sure. It brought us a great deal of comfort knowing he had moved on and that he was able to say goodbye to his wife, speaking of whom, she spent the next several weeks happily working on the Waterton branch before returning to Knapford. In that time, the papers completely changed their tune about our late express engine by writing countless articles and profiles about him. One of these pieces called him a prime example of British ingenuity, craftsmanship, and excellence. I think that perfectly sums up the former Meaty, don't you? At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I once again need to elaborate on something I said in a previous story. When I was talking about fitted trains, you may recall how I said they don't need brake vans. That's because instead of a van, they have what's called the end of train device, or EOTD. This little gizmo acts like an air pressure gauge, which enables the locomotive to control the continuous brakes on the train. It should go without saying that if it's damaged or improperly installed, it can cause problems. I'm sorry to say this story involves one of those cases, but that's not where it starts. It actually begins with Francis being very ticked off by something in the newspapers.
It's absolutely scandalous! What's he on about?
Did you see this morning's headline?
Aye, but my driver hasn't picked up a copy yet.
Well, I did, and I regret it.
So do I. I shouldn't have asked you to read it to me. Why? What was in it?
The speed record between London and Edinburgh was recently broken by another diesel.
Why is that a problem?
Who do you think held the previous record? You did? Oh, splendid! Splendid! If it upsets you, absolutely. Thanks for making my day, Walter.
Don't mention it. Ever.
I don't know why I expected compassion from any of you.
Come off it, Francis. Even you had to think someone would break your record someday.
Of course I did, Henry, but I never dared believe it would be done by a Class 74.
What's a Class 74? They're also known as EDs, or electro diesels. They're not one of BR's better designs, but they've started overhauling them recently. Sounds like they've supercharged one of them. Good on them, I say.
You would, wouldn't you? You and they have a lot in common.
Because we're both failures that have risen to dizzying heights?
You said it, not I.
So you still consider me a failure?
Oh shit!
Why do railways hate me?
I'm sorry, Onslow. Derek!
I'll be right there, Sam. We'll continue this later.
Oh, joy. Has anyone ever told you you're an ass? I believe you both have on multiple occasions.
Then one more won't hurt. You're an ass.
You must have felt quite at home in the tunnel, Henry.
Very droll, Francis.
What happened?
Leaking brake pipe. The banker pushed us to lower Knapford and my driver patched it up using your bootlace trick, James.
Hang on, did that actually happen? Sort of. We used a newspaper and some wire to mend a leak.
Oh, that makes more sense. I trust you know I didn't hide in the tunnel because of rain.
I do. Wilbert told me. It was during the Blitz, right?
Aye, I was pulling a passenger train when I heard the planes flying overhead. The tunnel was nearby, so in I went. All that stone and soil made for the perfect shelter.
It's a shame others weren't so fortunate.
Wilbert told me about that too. Do you mind if I ask you lads a question?
About the war?
About Peter.
Why?
Since the day I was built, I'd been hearing stories about your platoon.
So you know about Peter and the hospital?
Yeah, and when he was let out of Railgate, it caused quite a stir. I had hoped to meet him someday, but since that's not going to happen, I wanted to ask you what he was like. Was he a monster?
Depends on who you ask. This has nothing to do with me, James. Maybe not, but you went out of your way to torment him. Well, excuse me for not being kind towards the convicted war criminal.
He served his time.
And that makes everything better. I recall hearing you weren't too fond of his return, Gordon, but I came to terms with it, and he expressed genuine remorse for what he did. For God's sake, he pled guilty at his trial. Again, does that make everything better? I'm appalled by how willing all of you are to turn a blind eye to the murder of innocent people. Is it because they were the enemy?
We were at war, Francis. You can't understand what it was like.
Oh, yes, you were just following orders, doing your duty, and all that rubbish. I'm sure the soldiers of the Third Reich said the same thing. You tosser!
All right, never mind. Let's drop it. Forget I brought it up.
I agree we should end this conversation, but let me answer your question. Peter was not a monster. He was a good man who did a terrible thing. My word, Francis, I didn't think it was possible for you to stoop any lower, but here we are. All I did was point out their hypocrisy. I mean, if it had been a German locomotive that shelled a British hospital, I doubt they would be so willing to forgive, and I certainly doubt they wouldn't want retribution. So I suppose you support the Jerry that killed Peter? I wouldn't say that. I may not have respected Peter, but I did not want him dead. I was rather shocked when it happened, actually, and maybe slightly upset. But over time I came to realize I'm not really sad that he's gone. All right, I have to know. Why did you hate him so much? What did he ever do to you? Nothing, but let's just say I've met some of the victims of that war.
He means me.
I wasn't going to name names, Walter.
I don't mind talking about it, Francis, assuming Daisy wants to listen.
Only if you're certain, Walter.
I am, and I may as well start off by telling you I'm actually German. I was about 2 years old when the war ended. That's when me and my mother came here.
Was it just the two of you?
Yeah, we lived in a small village that was attacked by Allied forces. My father and younger sister died during the battle.
Walter's been my driver since the day I was built, so I've heard this story before. He and his family were innocent throughout the entire conflict, but still had to pay for it. Do you think that was fair? No, but I don't think our lads went out of their way to make their lives miserable.
Neither do I.
What?
She's right, Francis. If the Nazis hadn't occupied my village, the Allies would have left it alone. I'm sure the same could be said of the hospital Peter destroyed. Do you really think he would have dropped a shell on it otherwise?
Well, no. It still doesn't sit right with me.
Like Henry said, we were at war.
How come you've never told me this before?
I thought I had, or at the very least I thought I made clear the only ones I blame for what happened are the Nazis. Don't forget, they started the damn war.
Just when I thought my day couldn't get any worse.
Nice to see you too, Francis.
Oh God, don't tell me you two know each other. Would that I could, James, but Desmond here was one of the most unreliable diesels I have ever known. He was always late because he was constantly breaking down. He was the Derek of the southern region.
And now I've gone from failure to record holder.
Wait, that was you? Your name wasn't mentioned in the paper.
I don't know why. I told the reporter what it was. This makes it so much better. I actually get to see your face when you find out it was me.
Is that why you're here? To gloat?
No, I brought in a passenger train from London. Ever since I set that record, I've had my choice of assignments. Sounds like your career is really taking off. Congratulations, Desmond. Thank you, Henry. Oh, and Scott sends his regards to all of you.
You know my brother?
I recently had the pleasure of meeting him. He congratulated me for my record, and I thanked him for being an inspiration. He was grateful I took it in stride, said I behaved so much better than my predecessor.
So you've met Scott as well? Yes. It was shortly after I broke his record. I said to him, in jest of course, that I'm the real Flying Scotsman. Very droll, Francis.
Honestly, Francis, is there anyone from the mainland you haven't ticked off?
I hope not. I would hate for anyone to feel left out.
Well, it looks like you've finally received your comeuppance. Those are some fine-looking trucks you have there. Are they first or second class?
I wouldn't expect you to understand, Desmond, but being able to pull coaches and trucks without breaking down makes one a really useful engine. Wouldn't you agree, James? I would if your injector hadn't failed recently. Then there was your cooling system before that.
And your fuses before that. And you have the nerve to call Derek a failure.
Ugh. All right, that's it. I can't take it anymore. If you're going to have a hissy fit, can you wait until after we've left? I am not going to have a hissy fit, James. I am going to do something I should have done a long time ago. You wanted to see me, Francis? Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. Look, if you're going to gripe about tomorrow's fuel train, no, sir, I am not. I would like to request a transfer. A transfer? What brought this on? It's been a long time coming, Mr. Watson. I once told Sir Tom that there's no place for me here. I'm afraid that hasn't changed over the subsequent years.
And do you ever wonder why?
No, sir. I know it is largely of my own doing. I've alienated nearly every engine on Sodor, and I take full responsibility for that. I actually admire your self-awareness. Have you thought about trying to fix it? Not really, sir. Given how much the others hate me, I don't think they would be receptive to reconciliation. I certainly wouldn't in their place. But setting all that aside, I feel wasted here.
What do you mean by wasted?
I mean I should be out there gliding through the British countryside delivering passenger trains between cities. Instead, I'm confined to a single island hauling trucks and the occasional commuter service. It's all so unsatisfying and frustrating. I understand Gordon was built for a similar reason, but he's never complained about his situation.
Be honest with me, Francis. Does this have anything to do with a desire to reclaim your record?
No, sir, but it has made me realize how much I miss my life on the mainland. I need to be out there, Mr. Watson, so please, will you approve my transfer?
I'll think about it.
So I heard you might be leaving us.
I'm sure you were devastated by such news.
Oh, absolutely beside myself. If you are going to be transferred, we should finish our discussion.
Is there really anything to discuss, Derek?
Since you still think I'm a failure, I would have to say yes.
I don't think you're a failure, Derek. Not anymore. Failures are turned into scrap, not fire and rescue chiefs. You've come a very long way since your early days, and you should be very proud of that.
Oh, well, thank you, Francis. I'm surprised to hear you say that.
All I did was tell the truth, nothing more. As for my attitude at the harbour, that was nothing more than a spiteful retort, and I'm sorry about that.
Apology accepted. Now, what about everything you said during my early days? Are you sorry for any of that?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, at the time I was right. Even you agreed with me.
That was before I knew better. I used to think my problems came about from not working hard enough, but we were both wrong. It isn't my fault the men who built me were idiots.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Fine, Derek. I'm... Tosser. Anyway, I'm on fire! What? There's smoke coming from one of your tankers! How in blazes did that happen?
We'll worry about that later. For now, let's stay calm. I'll call for... Oh dear.
Now can we panic?
No. Uncouple from your train and pull away now.
No, we should get this lot out of here.
Are you mad? Why would we do that?
Because we've seen what one exploding tiger can do. Imagine if all of these go up.
My God, you're right. The whole town could be leveled. But where can we take... Wait, the tunnel! We can stash this train inside the tunnel.
Brilliant idea, but I'll handle it. Move aside, Francis.
With all due respect, Chief, no. This train needs to leave now. Walter, you should...
No chance, Francis. Where you go, I go.
Well then, tally-ho! You didn't hose down the tankers? We couldn't risk it. The flames would have made them extremely hot. If we had sprayed them with cold water, they could have split open. Since they were filled with oil, well, you can imagine. No, it was safer to wait and let the fire burn itself out, which it did. My men were then able to process the scene.
How bad was it?
The tankers suffered some damage, but nothing serious. Likewise with the tunnel, and we found out why your brakes came on, Francis. Your train's EOTD was faulty.
At least my injector didn't fail again. Any idea what caused the fire? I think I might have. I was running late and had to thrash myself to make up for lost time. Maybe a spark flew from my funnel as I passed by. If that's what happened, I'm so sorry, Francis. I hope you know I didn't mean to do that. Of course I do, James.
I have to say it was pretty quick thinking to stash those tankers in the tunnel.
I have you to thank for that, Henry. When you said it made for the perfect shelter, I felt it could contain a threat and defend against one in equal measure. And risking your life to attempt such a feat was very brave of you, Francis. Well done. Thank you, Gordon, but I can hardly take credit. I barely made 50 feet after all. The banker is the real hero here.
Unfortunately, we can't reward a ghost for its efforts, so you'll have to do.
I'm being rewarded, sir?
Yes. Now, before you get too excited, I've decided to not approve your transfer. I've been reviewing your record, and despite many issues, you are one of our most productive engines. Therefore, we need you here. However, I have been thinking about what you said about feeling confined. So, how would you like to handle all of Sodor's motor rail services? You'll be able to stretch your wheels while still being available to help out here. What do you say?
I think that's a perfect compromise, sir. I accept. Thank you. And if I'm going to remain on Sodor, I need to be a better engine. So, gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the horrid things I've ever said to you. My conduct was abysmal, and I have no excuse.
Too right.
But it's not like we made things any better.
Aye, we gave as good as you got.
Indeed, we shouldn't have lowered ourselves like that.
Why don't we admit we all made mistakes and start over?
I would like that.
Me 2. Me 3.
Me 4. So what brought on this desire for reconciliation, Francis? My own mortality. Being stuck coupled to a burning fuel train makes one rethink their life.
Well, I'll make sure you aren't given any fuel trains for the immediate future.
That won't be necessary, Mr. Watson. I'm perfectly willing to do tomorrow's run and any future deliveries.
Really?
Well, you didn't shy away from the kipper after your infamous crash. How could I do any less? Congratulations, Francis. You've finally become a really useful engine, and it only took a near-death experience to accomplish that. Very droll, Francis. Ugh. I also apologize for being so condescending, too.
It's all right, Francis. They're not on fire.
Good. Who knew being a really useful engine made one so anxious? I almost wish the banker would show up and give me a shove.
So do I. I'd like to thank him.
Indeed. Banker, if you happen to hear this, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Peter?
Hello, Francis. Walter?
Am I seeing things? You and me both. Is it really you?
It's really me, Francis, and I'm really dead. I popped it the moment those bullets hit me.
And you've been banking trains ever since? Why?
I don't know. I have no control over it. I just appear and disappear whenever.
What about the memory thing? Are you doing that?
No. I have no idea why any of this is happening. The best reason I can come up with is I'm being punished for what I did. It's so tiring, but I guess it's what I deserve. I am a monster after all.
No, you're not.
What?
You're not a monster, Peter. You don't deserve this. You also didn't deserve my scorn. I'm sorry for that. I had no right to pass judgment on you, and to whatever force is passing judgment, I dare say he suffered enough. Yes, he did a terrible thing, but it was during a time of war, and he paid for it.
But is it enough?
After yesterday, it certainly is. You saved an entire town from destruction, Peter. That makes you a hero.
You think so?
I do. Well done.
Wow, thank you. Blimey, I don't remember the last time I actually smiled.
Huh? What's wrong?
I see something. It's faint. Is that a light? What's happening? I think you're finally going where you belong. Oh my God. It's beautiful. I'm sure it is. Give my regards to Reginald and all the rest when you see them. Tell them it was a pleasure knowing them. I will. I would ask you to do the same for me with the others, but you might not remember this. I guess we'll see what happens. Goodbye, Peter. Goodbye, Francis.
Oh, splendid!
Yes, I'm pleased to say Francis did remember his encounter with our late number 15. He told us all about it, and it brought us a great deal of comfort knowing he had finally found peace through redemption. I'm just as pleased to tell you this whole experience had a wonderful effect on the Class 46. True to his word, he reconciled with everyone, even Desmond during one of his motor-rail trips. This new assignment did wonders for his morale. He never did reclaim his record, and that was because he didn't try. He was perfectly content knowing he once held it. Indeed, he became a really useful engine who no longer griped about taking trucks. Life carried on after that, and as the 60s drew to a close, we wondered what the new decade would have in store for us. And let me tell you, it would be a very eventful time. But those are stories for another day.
On the railway, it's a life of happiness, but sometimes impatience can lead to carelessness. Some think they are smart cats, and some just know it all. But sooner or later, we all find out that accidents happen now and again, just when you least expect. Plans can turn upside down if you get too confident. Sometimes you will slip and slide if that's Lady Luck's intent. 1 minute you're riding high, the next you're on the ground. But please remember, whatever the weather, you must take care, 'cause accidents happen now and again. Sometimes just by chance, you gotta pick yourself up and dust yourself down, put it down to experience. Accidents happen now and again, just don't take it all too hard, 'cause if you don't concentrate on the thing that you're doing, accidents will happen just like that. The warning signs are there for us to see most of the time, but sometimes we take chances and ignore the danger signs. Fate can surprise you with no reason or rhyme. Make sure you learn your lesson, you'll know better next time. Accidents happen now and again, just when you least expect. Just when you think that life is okay, fate comes to collect. Accidents happen now and again, when people or trains get smart. If you don't concentrate on the thing that you're doing, accidents will happen just like that. Accidents happen now and again, sometimes just by chance. You gotta pick yourself up and dust yourself down, put it down to experience. Accidents happen now and again, just don't take it all too hard. If you don't concentrate on the thing that you're doing, whatever you're doing is not what you're thinking. Accidents!